Poè-Tea-Mediation, a place where poetry, tea, and meditation reside. And I feel much better than I did earlier. I did another meditation, just sitting there being grateful, and look at the view behind me. It's awesome. But as I was meditating, I was thinking about a few things. I was thinking about some things like the questions I always get asked is, why tea reading? Why tea leaf reading? And why not tarot cards? I feel like tea reading for me is the most natural way to go. Because tea is of the earth. It's literally leaves. It's tea. It's plants that are dried up and then used and infused with water. And so when the leaves are dried up, something that is alive and living and taken from the earth, dried up, it still has energy. It still has the element of the earth. And then we infuse that with another element of the earth, water, and it creates a different, not element, but it creates something else. And so, because we are of the earth, came from the earth, we are literally the elements that I'm sitting all around right now. The water. We are sand. We are stone. We are a part of coral. Coral is us. This petrified wood that I'm sitting on is us. We have every element that is in the surroundings, my surroundings, and your surroundings, and you, and in me. So why can't we, what makes it so hard to connect to us? What makes it so hard to connect to something that is of us? Inside me there's water, there's the same elements. And I feel like because of my background, and I've always been super fascinated with physics and science, biology, I feel like I came to terms with that very early on when I was much younger. However, certain aspects of my upbringing did not allow me to expand on that idea. So now, as I grew older, I knew, I said, hey, I have the freedom to expand my knowledge, and so I did that. And what I believed in, which is the truth, we are from the ground. Even if you were to go back to the Bible, where did we come from? We came from the dirt. We are dirt. That simple, but that complicated and very magical. And so I took those aspects and I said, tea reading is for me. And being that I've always had this deep knowing, and I couldn't explain why, and I didn't explain why I was so emotional. My mom would call me hypochondriac, but I realize now that's not what it was. I would feel so deeply, it was so much to me. And because I was called this name, you know, called hypochondriac, and that's not like trauma, but that's like, you know, things that happen when I learned how to like cover it up and not show that I was feeling so much. But now I don't care. And you can call me whatever you want. I know what I'm feeling, and I'm feeling what I'm feeling. I'm gonna let everybody know what I'm feeling or not. And so tea reading has become home for me. It has become my my answers to something that I already know and I feel inside? And how do I get an exact answer, like a direct answer, like a yes or a no explanation? And a lot of times we want explanations for how we feel. Like, why am I feeling like this? You know, you go to the doctors because you have certain ailments and you want to get diagnosed with something. So like those were feelings that I had and I didn't understand why. And I'm like, I want to know why am I feeling this way? And so when one of my closest friends, who she is, what do you call her? I don't know if there's a name for it. It's like psychic or whatever. But one of the first times we met, she read me. She was 100% true. And so me and her became really close friends. She told me something about myself that I already knew, but I didn't tell to others. And when I went to her house one time, someone had gifted her a teacup reading set, and she never opened it. And it was my first time going to her house, and we were hanging out, just talking and catching up and stuff like that. And I looked at her shelf and I said, "What's that?" And she goes, "Oh, that's for you." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm not gonna, what do you mean that's for me? What is it?" And she goes, "That's for you." So I go to reach it and it's a packaged box and it's unopened. Like it still had the plastic wrap on it. So whomever gifted her, she just never opened the package. And I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna open up your gift. This is a gift for you." She goes, "No, it wasn't for me." Obviously it wasn't, because I haven't opened it up for years. It's been on that shelf. And so I'm like, okay. So I opened it, and here we go. It was a tea leaf reading set. So I open up the package, and I look at it. I'm like, "Oh, it's a tea reading set." I'm like, oh, you know, looking at her weird. And she's like, "Open it, open it." So mind you, we are in the Bronx, in Co-op City. She lives on the top floor. If you know anything about the Bronx and Co-op City, you know that when the wind whisks, you hear the wind outside. You hear like the loud, like it makes a sound. Like it's just whipping around the buildings, like a loud sound. It's like, you know, you just hear it. You hear it when you go out into the hallways. You hear it all the time. Now that I know it, I go to her house all the time. But like, that was just something that I know, that I heard it. Once I opened that box, it was complete silence. And she was like, "Did you notice that?" And it was weird. And that was when I did my first tea reading. And with her help, because I was not sure of myself and what I saw, but with her help, it was correct. And so that began my journey. And I was at, maybe 7 years ago. And I've been connecting ever since. So in the next video, I'll talk about what tea reading is, and I'll go into more detail. But I just wanted to bring that up and talk about it, because that's why I do tea reading. I feel like it's the most natural thing for me to do. It's part of who I am. It's of us. And to be honest, because we all have these elements in us, and all of us have a certain magic to us. Mine is, I don't know, knowing, a deep feeling of empathy and intuition. You may have something else. You may have really, I don't know, really good hearing or really good sense of smell. And there's a name for that. I'm gonna do some research because there's a name for those things. Like, everyone's magic, and I don't think we all are that's instilled in us when we were little. Maybe because I kind of feel like, I don't know, it's a lot of things that how we were brought up in different cultures, and some cultures are saying that, you know, like, they kind of steer you away from magic, but we are. And science is magic. Magic is science. I don't care what anyone says. I think every time when I was in physics class or I was in bio class and I had to do a formula and chemistry and do all that kind of stuff, I was annoyed by it because I didn't like it. However, once I actually was in lab and I did the experiments and I'm like, how did that and that and that plus that equal this? I just thought it was magic. So anyway, thanks for being here with me.